our expert on the Chinese scene.
Hey everybody, it looks like the pick and bans have already started for both teams, so let's just get us going here. Team MEA has already banned the Kha'Zix, Gnar, and Rise, and for Team Legend Dragons, we've got the Jace, Jarvan, and Rumble.
And
Alright,
then
so
we
the
have Morgana picked on the one side for Emmy, and Thresh and Corki over on the side of Legend Dragon. What do you think of the pick so far?
first pick Morgana is actually very interesting, seeing as Gnar's already been banned out. It's gonna be already we have the Pantheon and Ezreal. Hmm, interesting
And the
picks going on
Ezreal
here.
with Smite currently, but that's not going to stay there, right?
Oh God, I feel like he's already seen the new patch. I feel like it's like, oh jeez. Oh, it looks like Pasta's hovering over his Zed. Oh, there we go. His Orianna. His Orianna is actually really, really proficient. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the pick. During the group stages, he had an Orianna game, though I don't want to base too much off the group stages since his group in Legend Dragons group was pretty bad. Not much competition. And the Fizz, so we should be seeing
Yeah,
a
so
top Fizz
Orianna
this
and
game.
Fizz. Double
Top
AP
Fizz
comp
has
there,
been
plus the
seen.
Quirky. That's going to be a lot of magic damage.
Yeah, top Fizz will be interesting to see. I'm wondering if we saw that from Legends Dragons earlier this group. I do not think so. It must have been from another group entirely. It will be interesting to see. Actually, yeah, I think we did see the Fizz. Yeah, it was against OTM. So this isn't the first time we've seen the Fizz being picked here. But it looks like Team Me will be picking up the Zed as a result of that. So, and the Nami is pretty solid. All right.
So we have an entirely AD composition on one side, entirely AP composition on the other side. So tell me about top lane Fizz. What items do we expect to see, and how do we expect that matchup to go?
It should be entirely standard. I think the first item should be a Sheen. He is going up against, what would it be? Hmm.
Yeah, actually, it looks like
Morgana top.
it's Morgana mid
No,
or Zen.
we've seen this before. We've
Okay.
seen the Morgana top coming from Team ME's top laner. His Morgana top is actually really potent. I love the fact that he picked it up first pick because at first I was wondering. I was like, I'm not so sure if the Morgana top is a good idea. I mean, the first pick Morgana was a good idea, but it looks like they were using it simply as a flex pick between the support player and the top player. So that's Tudoba. It's a really good idea. Yeah, his top lane Morgana was really efficient when he was going up against, I think it was China Korea Dragons. Um, trying to remember this. It was China Korean Dragons. Top lane Gnar, yes, and he was destroying him. The damage he was outputting was simply phenomenal. So yeah, it's a great pick. It's been working before.
And so
Hmm.
when the Fizz was locked in, did they expect the Morgana to be top lane? And is top lane Fizz their answer to Morgana, or is that something that they would want to do anyway, even if it would have been Morgana support?
It's a really difficult one to call. The top Morgana versus Fizz. I feel like the advantage is over for Morgana. I mean, I guess the long lane does. You have to take into account the long lane of the top lane. So, hmm. Morgana might have a disadvantage simply because of the fact that she has quite a distance to run back to her turret. But just of course, if she puts on her magic shield, it's going to be very difficult for Fizz to engage on that. So I feel like it's a skill matchup, but it could edge towards the top laner for Team ME.
All right, then in the bot lane, we have Ezreal Nami going up against Corki Thresh. Now, Ezreal is a champion that we all used to see all the time, and then suddenly he got nerfed for one last time, and we haven't seen him played too much in a while. So, what about this Ezreal pick?
The Ezreal pick has been coming back unexpectedly. I feel like it's been coming back.
Yeah, we have seen a little bit of Ezreal every now and then. In my opinion, Ezreal and Nami is a very good matchup because when you put the Tidecaller's Blessing, Nami's E, alongside with the Ezreal Q, you get a very long-range poke with the extra damage, and then that also gives the slow. And Ezreal, pretty good at all-inning in early on in the levels, but against the Quirky Thresh. We'll see if they actually want to go for early fights or if they're going to want to play a little bit more cautiously.
Yeah, I think our Skype kind of I think I disconnected a little bit there, so I'm not sure if
I think
I
just for
didn't
a
catch that
second,
first part. Yeah, so could you just repeat that for me just so I can understand that question?
um, I was just asking about the Ezreal pick in general.
Ezreal pick is just a safe one. It's a really, really solid safe pick, and it scales extremely well. In fact, we've generally seen the Ezreal pick alongside Jace and Ryze simply just because of the tier scaling. And once they've hit that power spike, they were able to just like that take over a team fight. Sometimes it's been handled poorly and generally hasn't seen much favor because teams will start team fights or just like get caught out before the power spike really takes gets into effect. But Team ME itself has shown real proficiency at knowing when they've hit that power spike and have used it extremely efficiently. So I'm confident in their ability to use that.
All right, so we're getting into the game soon. In the loading screen right now, I believe. So just call this game for me. How do you think the lanes are going to go? Who's going to take the game?
All right. I feel like I'm edging this one towards Team ME. They really surprised us last in the quarterfinals when they were going up against China Korean Dragons. Everyone expected the China Korean Dragons to take that bit. Everyone kind of looked past Team ME, and maybe just because of how problematic their group was, very, very stale. Like, of course, everyone like China Korean Dragons stomped their groups, and Team ME stomped theirs. But people really valued the Korean players that were on China Korean Dragons. But when we saw Team ME, their team play, their champion picks were off ball. They were oddballs, but at the same time they worked extremely well. So I'm gonna have to edge it towards them. I think they can use their team comp effectively.
All right, and of course, it is in the jungle. We didn't really talk about Pantheon versus Nunu. Nunu not having someone too efficient to blood boil, but still going to have really, really good objective control early on in the game, and is definitely going to be providing a lot of utility, a lot of vision control to his team. And then on the other side, we have Pantheon, who has that global pressure. Which lane do you think he's going to be focusing?
And what was the Pantheon pick towards? Let's see. Okay, it was on Team ME. He will probably be focusing the early game, just like the level 3. I feel like either in the mid lane or he might focus down the Fizz because it seems like generally when you see a top lane Fizz, that's the priority. If top lane Fizz gets going, he won't stop. The snowball potential on that lane is astronomical. And of course, if you have the Morgana, you can lock him down, deal just enough damage with your Pantheon, and it's almost impossible for the Fizz Nunu to really. Oh, it looks like we have a skirmish going on here,
Yeah, we had a
actually.
little bit of a skirmish there, and it looks like people are just going to be sent back. No one actually dying, and there come in the other recalls. So going
All
to just
right.
come back to lane. A couple wards going down.
But yeah, as I was saying, just the 2v2 between the Pantheon Morgana against the Nunu Fizz. Nunu Fizz won't win out in that one, so I highly expect the Pantheon to be pressuring that lane early.
Right, so it
But
looks
yeah.
like he's going to be starting topside jungle. Both junglers starting at their blue. So Ezreal and Nami will have a slight advantage going into their lane just in terms of being able to get pushing power early on, being able to hit level 2 first.
It's gonna be interesting. Pasa's Oriana is I don't know. I want to see this lane. I really do because I feel like this matchup between the two players is gonna be really really fun to watch. Both players showed that they're the star players of their respective teams. So let's see how this matchup goes. Because as much as I'm looking towards the top lane for the matchups, I'm looking towards the mid lane just for the players' skills.
Yeah, and the top lane matchup, I've never seen top lane Morgana versus top lane Fizz before, actually. So I'm pretty excited to see how that plays out. And I'm really looking forward to the dragon fights where you have a Morgana and a Fizz teleporting on top of the fight.
Yeah, I feel the funniest part about this is let alone the matchup. It's we've rarely seen the Morgana top and we've rarely seen the Fizz top. We've only really seen the Fizz top from Xiao Mei and of course Snake Q's top laner Flandre, who has just been phenomenal with that Fizz top. And if you get that lane going, as I said earlier, it the snowball doesn't stop. So, hmm, I got
All
the
right,
stream
so
lagging here.
yeah, my stream paused for just a moment, but it looks like we are back into the game. So yes, pretty even early on. Standard lanes, of course, and no gank so far, just doing a full clear of the jungle early on.
All right, once I get this one going. But yeah, it seems like there we go. Will this be an early gank? Oh,
Yeah,
looks like an
Pantheon
early
coming
invade.
towards the mid lane, but he is going to be spotted by that Warden, so there's the ping to fall back, ping marking him out, and Oriana is going to be just fine. Pantheon actually looks like he's going to be going for an invade of the Wolves. Nunu will know about it, because there's not really anywhere else he could be going to, and a lot of empty vision on that map. Looks like he was able to take away the big one. Thresh actually coming in for backup there.
Uh, you should probably refresh your stream. I'm a little ahead of you now. But yeah, the okay, Morgana's TPing back into the top lane. That's gonna be really good. She has two Dorn Ring item advantage, so I feel like Fizz needs to get that lane pushing so he can back and do just the same.
Yeah, and he does, of course, have his teleport up. Morgana's teleport down. Dragon not a concern for a little bit of time still, so that's not going to be too big a deal. Nunu moving towards the top lane.
All right, he's just farming it up right now. The lanes are working out rather well for both team. More poke is coming out from Q in the bot lane. Team ME's bot lane has been really solid. Well, at the same time, Team LD's bot lane, Innocent and Vanguard, actually struggled um, what's it called, last matchup between China Korea Dragons and them. So they seem like they're a weaker lane in comparison right now. So yeah, we'll see how this works out.
And this matchup is actually one of the few where Ezreal is not at a pushing power disadvantage, so that works out really well for him as Pantheon finds Nunu at Raze. Gets a little bit of damage down, was able to steal the big Wraith away, but completely out of mana now. And we'll have
It's
to back away.
actually it's actually pretty funny seeing the Nunu get counter jungled by Pantheon. Ooh, and there's a
That's
fight
actually
going
a
down bot lane.
skirmish in bot lane, and a lot of damage onto Nami in particular. Does have a couple potions, or has a mana potion left, and will be able to heal. But Nunu actually going for this dragon. Pantheon completely out of mana, having to recall, and that means that this is a dragon that LD know they can take pretty much for free. Nunu will be able to solo it.
I'm just realized this. I feel like maybe it's people who have been watching is actually. Wow, I can't believe I actually missed this. Orange is their mid laner from what I've known. He played extremely well last. Huh. I'm not sure why he's playing jungle, but he's actually doing a really solid job. So I guess this team has. I'm not sure if this is a permanent move, but it's definitely working out for them. Oh god, I feel Team ME, I swear, have surprised me in every way. Not only are they just switching it up with their compositions, but even in their lineups, or at least just their roles. This is kind of funny.
So
Hmm.
Nunu was able to pick up that dragon, and without that being an objective, actually looks like we are going to see Pantheon moving to the top lane. Trying for a
Ooh.
gank on Fizz here.
It's not warded either, so this is pretty free. And with the
And he
Morgana
is
in this
only a
top
level
lane.
4. He needs to try to bait Fizz in with Playful Trickster, but Fizz is having nothing of it right now.
Yeah, it's looking really difficult. Yeah, it's really difficult to get a gank off right now if he doesn't have his binding. But honestly, he should probably just. Ooh.
Alright, in mid lane, Shockwave actually lands onto Zed there. He's going to try and ult onto Oriana, try and shadow out, but the slow does land. That's probably going to be first blood. Needs one more auto attack or a snowball, and that's first blood over to Nunu.
Yeah, that was interesting. Getting caught up as a Zed right now. That's one gank he's not going to be escaping, and with his flash down too. Jeez. All right, so it's not a good start going on for Team ME here, but hey, they still have the lanes working out for them in the sense that like bottom lane's going and top lane is still strong, but it looks like the Nunu's putting down the counter jungle.
Yeah, the blue's going to be stolen away, and yeah, he did lose Raze earlier, but Avoidless has been doing a great job of jungling, picking up the dragon, picking up the first blood, and now stealing away blue. And yeah, Zed is manaless, but he still would really like to have that.
There we go. And yeah, it's I guess finally Nunu's able to get the counter jungle in. After that, it's just about time too. Bot lane's finally. I feel like Team LD's bot lane's catching up in farm. They're able to
Yeah,
clear
Corki
out, and I
hitting
think they should back
level
in.
6 is pretty huge because that gives them wave clear that Ezreal Nami just can't answer. So 1 through 5, neither lane really has any wave clear, but once Corki gets his Missile Barrage and can just use that ultimate to wave clear, it's going to be pretty hard for Ezreal Nami to stand up to that.
All right, seems like we got a Sheen coming out of, and just the components of a Phage coming out from Corki. So that's quite the power spike. Ezreal's going to match it up probably with a Sheen. Yep, there we go. A Sheen as well. He's not going to be going with a tier early. I'm not sure if he's going with a tier at all, actually. I feel like we've seen this from Q before, though. So
Yeah,
there we go.
I'd be a little bit surprised to see a tier on Ezreal unless there's a build meta shift that I didn't know about. Because Blue Ezreal, I just haven't seen it too much recently.
Oh yeah, we've seen it quite a bit in the tournament alone.
Okay.
Just yeah, just from the stacking, it's really powerful. You just have to. The teams just have to be patient with the scaling.
Yeah. Yeah, it does really hurt when you come back to lane and your opponent picked up a phage and you got a tier and you're like, all right, well, I'll be stronger than you eventually.
Mm. All right, so yeah, standard lanes here. Morgana is still out CSing the Fizz, and with the dragon down, there's not much objective-wise to really contest. Nunu is just going to continue to counter jungle. I guess this is just about time too. Pantheon has his ulti though, so he can start something. He might want to aim a little more for the bottom lane. We'll see where that goes for us.
Yeah, Dragon will be up in slightly over a minute 30, so he does have time to ult and then have his ult back up by the next Dragon.
He gets
But
caught
we
out by
also
the
don't
ward.
know if they know the exact timer.
Hmm. The warding down for Team LD is really effective. It's catching out Pantheon through while he's crossing his jungle path. It's making it very difficult for him to be able to get a gank off.
Yeah, really good job of vision control. Bottom river is completely warded right now, and there's still that vision ward in top lane that Morgana has not been able to clear yet. Is getting a little bit of damage down onto the turret, but that's to be expected when you're Morgana against Fizz. Fizz actually jumping onto Morgana in the top lane, but Nunu is walking down for a lane gank in bot.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
They,
death
um,
sentence.
yeah, there we go. Oof. All right, not much is happening here. Nunu might want to get
Oh,
out of here.
Morgana actually gets really low. Manages to land the clutch black shield.
She's still farming out rather well. If she can go back and I think she's getting a bit. No, she shouldn't be getting Abyssal, but let's find out here. Hmm. Okay.
Just picking up a Negatron, so wants to make sure she doesn't die to Fizz. Smart.
Last time he played this pick, he did go for an early Morello Nomicon into a Zonia's. I'm not sure what the Negatron cloak. No, that's not a Negatron. Item names. Whatever. The MR probably just to be able to handle the lane matchup, but I don't expect him to be building it into anything.
Yeah, I would expect him to just be sitting on that for now. Negatron plus 2 Doran's rings is going to be pretty hard for Fizz to kill you. And if you're alone in top lane, then it does make sense that he would want to be able to have that survivability. Dragon, though, looks like it's not
Oof.
even going to be contested and is going to go over to Legend Dragon.
A second dragon for a voidless. They really need to be able to contest these dragon calls. That's the whole strength. I wouldn't say the entire strength of Morgana, but Morgana not being used in these team fights, they do have the advantage with these. But I guess they're just, I don't know if they're choosing not to go for it or just completely not realizing that it's happening, but
And there's still
it's
a
kind of
decent amount
disappointing.
of health on the tower, so they're not going to be able to pick it up just now. But I think they didn't actually have the timer on that second dragon after the first one was taken. I don't think they knew exactly when it was taken. Fizz going on to Morgana in top lane, but she doesn't take too much damage with the Negatron Cloak. Misses the
And she
binding though. Dark
is,
Shield comes down. There's going to be the fish coming in, and Fizz does not pick up the kill, but Nami actually gets the kill onto Corki. Thresh having to run away. There's a flash forward from Pantheon. There's the kill going over to Pantheon onto Thresh. Voidless running away right now. Teleport's coming down. Fizz actually teleported and then ran away. Pantheon going down still. And there's actually a death mark is going to be enough to pick up that kill. Fizz under tower. Binding is going to be Playful Trickster. And that is a 3 for 0 over to ME.
very, very well played. And especially for Morgana bringing it back to the top
Oh,
lane
Fizz
fight.
goes in. Shockwave misses completely. It snapped back to
Oh,
Oriana. That was
yeah.
huge.
That
That's too
was
bad.
so bad. Pasa, he played so well like throughout the entire tournament. He played superbly, and unfortunately, he's just not. I guess he just. I don't want to know if I don't know if he's choking or not, but that was just really bad. Poorly played out for him.
Yeah, that was. It happens every now and then. You are going to press R and then be like, ah, well, I guess I missed everyone because the ball was on my head.
The worst thing about that, of course, is if like you hear the sound, you see the animation, and you're like, that just happened. And of course, you can just like imagine the team just like, really did you just do that?
Yeah.
Oh God,
Even if they
that's
don't
just
say anything, you still know they're like, uh-oh.
it's so embarrassing. Oh, I feel bad for him on it, honestly. But yeah, rewinding that to the initial fight that honestly brought this all down. Morgana lived through the top lane skirmish, and it was simply because she held on to her black shield, which was really well done because she needed that black shield just to be able to. Oh, here comes the
Oh,
fight.
there's a
Actually,
gank and Bali onto the Lantern. Death Sentence does land. Absolute Zero comes in. There's the kill onto Nami. And Nunu picks it up. And they answer one back from the earlier fight.
yeah, Legend Dragon is playing this game out really well, surprisingly so. This is did not see this one coming. May have underestimated this team. But yeah, if even with Pasa playing poorly, or at least just for that one fight, um, with that one fight he was playing poorly, the rest of his team is really picking it up.
So we actually have Izonia's rush onto Pasta's Oriana, and that's going to make it a lot easier for him to survive against Zed. So very nice choice there, and we'll probably see that pay off in fights coming soon. Trinity Force on both AD carries, pretty standard there. I'm curious to see what boots they'll build actually, because you can build just so many items on both of these two AD carries.
hmm Might even see. No, I wouldn't go that far. Actually, I might even see a Mercurial Merc's treads for Fizz because just to handle the CC coming down from, of course, both Morgana and Pantheon, and Nami as well. They're really
Yeah.
strong, and just being able to survive that would be it'd be difficult. But he, of course, he's probably gonna go for our magic penetration. Like the faster you can kill, like your target, the better.
And speaking of killing, Fizz actually is able to playful trickster the Deathmark in top lane, so he will not be killed. Zed just shadows away with his ultimate shadow there. And no kills.
Or
Tower is getting low on the side lanes in favor of Ami, but they haven't managed to take anything just yet.
pretty funny. They swapped lanes. I'm not. I think this was a response to Oriana's
Yeah.
Zhonya's, and at the same time, Morgana was starting to lose out in those top lane matchups. So it works out for both. It's a very smart swap. So it works out for
And
the
Zed
team.
should be able to pick up the tower. It was, yeah, there it goes. The tower was
Yeah.
low enough that he was able to pick it up.
And plus, Zed
So
does want a split push, so that's honestly a really smart decision.
Shockwave
There we
onto
go.
Pantheon. He got caught out on the ward. Absolute Zero comes in, and that is not enough. The Dark Shield can't save him. Dark Binding
Mhm.
misses. Morgana is out. And they should
All
actually be able
right.
to pick up bot here also since Corki just recalled.
Two towers down early. That's although they're behind in kills, Team Emmy is taking control of this game through towers and now, of course, vision, which is
They
really
might be
ironic in
able
that
to catch out Fizz in top lane.
they could actually, yeah. But it was really ironic since they were losing on the vision and the dragon for a good time now. But I guess it doesn't matter. They got towers now.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
early damage that Morgana was getting onto the top tower instead of rotating down when Fizz was making his way towards Dragon, that ended up paying off, and just also the fact that Ezreal and Nami were able to push up on the tower. So some of the things that caused them disadvantages, they lost out on a Dragon, they got killed in bot lane, those did eventually lead them to being able to pick up those two towers.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So yeah, they're starting to group up into the mid lane, just taking the last outer tower here.
And it looks like Zed is actually going split pushing in bot while Morgana holds her own against Fizz. Still hasn't really picked up items since the Negatron buy.
This does keep this push and the pressure going on in the bot lane. It allowed the Ezreal and Nami to be able to pressure this tower, even like likely take it. It's a smart idea. It's ooh, the pressure going down here.
Ezreal going all in onto Corki there, but enough of the missiles hit, and Thresh is there. He cannot take it. And we actually just have a lane swap, 2v2 mid, but Dragon's up, so is this going to be the one that Emmy focuses?
Looks like it. They have the opportunity now to create some vision pressure here. Hmm.
Fizz's teleport is up right now, so he will be able to join via teleport or just walk there. And Morgana actually just lost a pretty substantial wave to turret, so it's already cost them a little bit to have Morgana not TP top. So they would like to make something happen here.
Well, she's still ahead in CS, so it's not that big of a deal. But all right, they're positioning for the dragon. This is a really smart decision. They should be able to get it,
Oh,
honestly.
Dark
He
Binding onto
gets
Thresh.
the
That's a lot of
pick.
damage. True Shot Barrage. Oh, and
Ooh.
the Q. There's the Shark going in, but the flash away. Morgana actually lands a pretty good ult stunning onto one. There's the heal coming down. Binding Shockwave hits onto three, picks up a kill onto one. And the other two are going to run away. One of them going down. Pantheon actually Grand Sky falls in behind Corki, but it's too far away. Binding lands and actually going to die to the black pool there. And Pantheon's going down. Nami has to run away, and it is a 3-4-4 in favor of Legend Dragon, and that is going to be their dragon.
All right, that was a really, really great start to the fight by Team Emmy. Unfortunately, they were in a very confined space, and it made it so easy for like Oriana to get her damage up. And of course, you have Nunu there as well. It was just such a perfect team fight location for Team Legend Dragons. So it was a great start, and honestly, they still Team ME still has strength to really go for another team fight, but Team LD taking this opportunity. It's really well done for them.
Yeah, really good shockwave there by Pasa. Made up for the earlier one in lane.
He's just hoping everyone forgot about that one. It's just, oh god. At
Oh, what
least, yeah, he
shockwave?
definitely made up for it. Yeah, I don't remember that one.
I don't know. Yeah. The other thing is that Fizz had just bought his Lichbane prior to that fight, and Morgana had also gotten her Morellonomicon, but personally, I feel that the Lichbane is a larger power spike.
Yeah, it's. I feel like. I mean, the Morellonomicon rush is great in the sense that he can really just push the lane constantly. He gets the AP. It's really nice, but not getting the Zonias generally, of course, you struggle throughout team fights, and that's what happened. He died immediately, and so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's interesting. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
they're
of course,
just.
the. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, no, it's all right. I was just saying that it looks like they'll just be picking up the scraps in the jungle and just getting ready for, I guess, just to regroup in the mid lane. They got to start off by getting more lane pressure here.
Yeah, and Crucible was picked up by Nami, so she'll be able to have that either for the Thresh Death Sentence. Probably the Thresh Death Sentence is the most likely one. Although we have a 21-minute
Ooh.
Baron right now. Pantheon is bot side and Zed is in bot lane, but it looks like they do not want to go for it. Nice dodge of the Dark Binding.
That was a really, really good catch up by the by Ezreal's. What is it called again? It's
The True Shot Barrage?
no, he did catch him up with the blue trinket. That's what it is. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know
Blue
what it's called
Trinket.
specifically. Yeah, but he did catch him up with the blue trinket. It was really, really
Scrying
well
Orb.
placed on scrying orb. There we go.
Pantheon going all in onto Oriana. The Shark actually misses, but it is fine. Oriana grabs the kill. Teleport was used there to save Oriana's life, so it will be down.
Hmm. Like, eesh. Or
A
Ornage has
lot
been
of
playing out.
damage onto
There
Nuni
we
there.
go.
Is he tanky enough to survive? No, he's not. He's going to go down there. Great pickoff. Ezreal just playing so aggressive there, knowing that he could get his damage done. And that is just the funnest way to watch Ezreal's play.
Yeah, and it's all being set up by this Morgana. It really, I just love seeing the Morgana top being played, and I saw it being played in the Black Monster Cup in one game from um, Team 8. So I like the fact that it's moving around and it's not just a one region thing. So it's really nice. It's fun to watch.
So when are we getting back to Malphite being the single most overpowered champion in the game?
It's coming back, or at least in the expansion tournament in the NA, but I don't want to talk about that
Yeah.
because it's expansion. I don't know. I really don't want to talk about this. The strategy in the expansion tournament's not as robust as TGA here.
Oh, we saw a Poppy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh God.
But getting back to this game, Emmy has been trying to siege mid lane turret for a long time, but they're having a really difficult time doing that against the Orianna wave clear and threat of engagement. So do you see them actually in bot lane? There's the death mark onto Fizz. He had to play full trickster ahead of time, but the death mark is not quite enough, and he is going to survive.
That pot saved him. That's hey, always buy pots, folks. Chug him. It wasn't even a pot. It was just he still held onto his crystalline flask, which is a great
Yeah.
idea, I guess. Yeah, that worked out for him. All right. So yeah, and of course, Pasa right now is holding 7 kills from the 11 kills his team has. So he's gonna play a massive factor in these team fights.
Yeah, and they really just can't siege against us. So they don't really have anything else they can do. They actually have a large wave in top lane, but they're not sending anyone there. With Zed splitting a bot lane against Fizz, and it looks like they might just have to wait for the next dragon. Although Zed no longer has his ult, he's going to be able to Living Shadow away, no problem. But if they can get a fight that's not in a quarter, do you think that Emi can win the next dragon team fight?
It's really difficult to say with Pasa's like skills in general. I didn't even think he needed that team fight location to be able to pull off that the shockwave, because he generally does, like, he has the skill to be able to pull it off even in open quarters. So it's really difficult to say, and this is such a good matchup right now between Team LD and me, because like Team Me didn't find this much um, pushback from this strat when they used this strat against China Korea Dragons. They were able to just maneuver around the map with ease, but just taking down this mid lane turret is proving to be such an impossible task right now.
Yeah, and they've devoted a lot of time to it. They've pretty much just been staying there since like the second dragon, and the next one is about to spawn. Here it is on the map. Ezreal picking up the blue buff.
He should be, yeah, he'll definitely get there on time. I'm not sure which team wants the fight here. I guess Team ME should be able to poke them out.
Oh, but
Oh,
actually, if Zed gets caught out ahead of time, I think I know who wants to fight.
that was such a bad timing for Zed to get caught. Oh God, I'm starting to wonder if this role swap was worth it, because ever since the early 2 kills from Pantheon, Orange hasn't shown. He's actually been caught off right quite frequently. Well, I guess as you can see, Zed hasn't had a good time in general. So I feel like they might want to swap back after this.
Yeah, and they weren't even able to pick up the mid lane turret while LD took the dragon, so they just didn't really get anything. Their tidal wave going across, there's a gun Skyfall in, but the tidal wave didn't actually hit anyone. Exhaust comes down onto Pantheon immediately, the flame back, and he's going to be able to flash away. Dark Binding clips to the side, doesn't hit anyone.
That was a field goal if I've ever seen one. Oh jeez, I
That
guess he
tidal
wanted to
wave was
catch
just...
that. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I think
it was in a sense a zoning tidal wave, in that they could
yeah,
have just
definitely.
walked straight away from the Pantheon ult, but instead they
Yeah,
did get Skyfallen on. Pantheon jumped on top of them, but still no
yeah.
kills picked up, just a flash burned.
The exhaust burn was, I guess, a win for them. Had he not exhausted Pantheon, that probably would have worked a little bit more in Team Me's favor. But they stopped the mid lane push. That's all I can ask for. That was positive. I guess I can call it.
Alright, so
Ooh,
we'll see if
just
Zed and Viz want to have a go at it again. Playful Trickster has been used already, so he could Deathmark. There's gonna perfect timing on the Deathmark actually, but the Zonius comes out. He has the second invulnerability. The Shadow comes back. Is Nami going to be the hero to save the day? Fizz just gets away.
the mechanical plays by both players. I love
That
seeing the
was
Fizz.
fantastic.
That was beautiful. I always love seeing Fizz versus Zed because just the outplays that they can work against each other based on A, Zed being able to ulti out of Fizz's fish, and at the same time, the Zonia's coming out from Fizz to be able to block out the death sentence. I was just about to call it that. So that's comedic. All right, but
Lots
yeah,
of
just
death in this game.
it would have been a death sentence if it worked. The save. All right. But yeah, it was a great outplay. No, neither of them died though, so not much happened there.
And
Hmm.
with the Zonias and Lichbane completed, Fizz is going to be pretty scary. And speaking of Fizz being pretty scary, we didn't get to see it, but there's finally the kill onto Zed that he has been waiting for in that 1v1. He
He
was
worked
able
it
to
off
get
the
out.
TP too, so he used his TP to be able to get that kill. Not sure if that was a smart thing. It all depends on how Team ME can really start
A
up
little bit
this
of a fight at
Baron.
Baron here. And Morgana ult goes down. There's a tidal wave across. True Shot Barrage does not hit any of the team. Nami actually used the Crucible on herself. There's a flash away. Still does get hit by the Ice Blast. Morgana, or Oriana, excuse me, over to the side, throwing the ball around a little bit. But it is, of course, 5 versus 4 in LD's favor. And Emmy
Uh,
forced to back away. They don't have
is
crucial ults right now.
mm, they need to be able to give this up. They don't have Zed. This Baron's free for Team LD.
Yeah.
All right. Zed getting picked off in the bot lane was just enormous. And although it like Fizz had to blow TP to be able to do that, they didn't have the necessary power to be able to win that Baron fight or just the fight near the Baron. So Fizz was able to get there while his team was already winning out. So that just resulted to a free Baron off of that.
Yeah, and the other huge thing was that not only did Fizz pick up the kill, but he was also still at pretty much full health after picking up the kill. So he didn't have to recall or anything. He was able to just walk straight up the map. And it didn't take him too long to get there.
Hmm. So here comes another episode of Zed versus Fizz. Oh, he uses his. Oh, okay, he doesn't come out it anyways. All right, but so Fizz using his playful trickster on the wave for wave clear is generally a really bad mistake, just because Zed can really work off of it with just like all inning him. But he didn't take that opportunity. I don't know. I guess he was hoping that he can get a better chance, but all in all, it's what happened.
Yeah, I think Zed might be a little bit scared of doing it with the Baron buff on Fizz. That's a little bit of a deterrent to him. So not wanting to have anything happen again. And then also Zed with mobility boots, actually. So not really getting any combat advantage from his boots when he is fighting 1v1 against Fizz.
Yeah, that's true. It'll only be able to it'll allow him to maneuver from the mid lane to split pushing the bot lane pretty well, just because he doesn't have that net TP. I'm not sure if I would much rather have Morgana splitting. It's a weird adaptation. Generally, you'd want the Zed splitting, but allows for an easy mid turret, I guess. Hmm.
Yeah, and I just really feel like Emmy has tunneled too hard on trying to siege the mid outer turret. They've been trying to do that for a long time. There's a tidal wave going across, though. It doesn't really hit anyone except for Thresh, though, and no follow-up.
Team ME's strategy has just pretty much gone down the wayside. Ever since they were just unable to take the mid lane turret, the entire composition is just surrounding the ability for that, just the picks off of Morgana's her Q. So if they can't get those Qs, they can't really poke them out of the away from the turrets, and it hasn't been working out ever since that dragon fight.
Yeah, then that dragon fight was really, really huge with the 3-man shockwave. But there's the Zonia's onto Morgana. Zonia's using the fish, but Fizz actually goes in, gonna get focused down almost immediately. 1-for-1 so far. There's the shockwave, hits only Pantheon. He's gonna get ice blasted after flashing away. Ezreal gets melted in the middle of the enemy team. He did not want to be there, and that's the end of the fight.
All right, here comes the inhibitor from Team LD. It's gonna work out for them. This game's really snowballing in their favor. I wonder how ME. I was about to call him Merled Elite. Holy moly. Yeah, that team ME. Merled Elite. But
Merle
yeah.
Elite.
I think I'm gonna
Great, I love
keep
it.
that one up. But yeah. Team ME, I don't know how they're gonna regroup after this game. They still have an opportunity, they still have a chance, but this game's snowballing against them.
They're gonna be able to pick up the dragon. Cute there, taking the lantern and thus sentence bringing them both over the wall. And Panther actually trying to grand Skyfall. I don't think they can really get anything off of
Ooh.
this, nor would they want to, given the Baron buff.
They blew a lot for about no reason, honestly. Pantheon should have just canceled out his ulti the moment he realized he wasn't going to get anything off that. And they had the sufficient warding in the dragon area to be able to make that decision, but mm, all right. Yeah, this is not working out for them. I'm not sure if they're tilting here, but sure as
I think
looks
they're
like
just
it.
trying to make something happen instead of just giving up.
Yeah.
There's not going to be too many more opportunities where they have the chance to do anything. Maybe if only one person was taking the dragon, lagging behind while everyone else recalled, maybe they could have gotten a pick onto one person. So I don't think it's the worst thing that they tried to do, but it also had a very low chance of succeeding.
Yeah, definitely. So super minions are pushing down the mid lane, so they might, yep, they're going to be rotating up to the top lane. Um, Fizz split pushing bot lane. They're just having all lanes just getting pushed on. The pressure here is immense. How they'll deal with it, I am not sure. Zed can't really deal much with the Fizz right now in that lane. He might fail, but I guess it just depends because one step up from just one mistake from Fizz, and he'll lose out in that 1v1. Ooh, oh,
Yeah,
here.
he does want to go in. There's the fight in bot lane. They're using their mobility spells. Health
I
pressure
really
going
wish the
down.
cameraman. There we
The
go. Please,
Zonius goes
cameraman.
off, and he is going to get the Lich Bane proc off, and there's the
Yeah,
kill for Fizz.
the cameraman's not really on point there, but oh,
Oh, wow.
perfect. Yeah, jeez. Okay, all right.
I barely even
Pasta.
saw that. So, really nice pick
Holy
up there.
moly. Pasta is
I
proving to
think
be an
he's made
amazing
up for that
acquisition.
bot lane fight.
I think so. I don't even want to talk about it anymore just because it doesn't do justice for that. Oh, there we
And
go.
here's the surrender vote.
Yeah.
17 to 9 at 35-12. And game one there goes over to Legend Dragon.
All right. Game two will start shortly, so I guess we'll see you there.
Silas Ramsbottom.
Bottom.
Hilarious.
忽视掉小龙的这个位置附近的视野，因为奴奴带了一个针眼，然后就把一个龙偷掉了。整个 ME 整场他们每一个位置都没有任何察觉，这也是这个 ME 上面的一些失误。
是，那么
但是
ME 其实在下路的时候也是把之前的将近3000的经济差距是拉回到了1000块。
对，
在前期一直是稳住了一定的局面，在经济上是尽量跟上去。对，但是
突然发条就肥了。
很可惜的是，发条突然就肥了，然后打团的时候就是在小龙的那个草丛那一波没有打好 ME 那一波。
所以说呀，就一失足成千古恨，发条从此肥的都没有朋友了，然后到后面就一路超神，包括到后面的团战当中的话，虽然说秒掉一个人，其实还有一波团战特别的悲伤，就是在那个紫色方的蓝 buff， 就是奴奴这边蓝 buff 的外面的那一波团战，其实
F4的位置
非常可惜啊，就是他们如果说稍微的，因为已经是秒掉了一个人，其实是一波5打4，但是 这波团没有打好，有一部分原因就是奴的这个大招，虽然说分割了战场，大家往后退就好了，但是潘森进去吃了一个满血，瞬间满血就没有了，然后就变成了半血。然后这个时候在开打的时候，然后潘森跳了一个大招，跳到了最后面，然后也是浪费了自己很多就是跟着后排一起输出的时间。
而且他也
然后跳到后面以后，然后又被他又被发条给反杀，然后发条一下子这一波就顺肥，然后所以说到后面的话，这个发条就无解了。
也是因为在无论是团战当中的优势或者劣势，其实也是因为努在前期的时候拿掉了全场的所有的小和大龙。
是的，那么这一局还是要恭喜这个 LD 拿到了第一场的胜利。那我们稍作休息来看一下 LD 之后跟 ME 的第二场较量。
我们待会儿见。
Picked here, but it looks like Team Me will be picking up the Z as a result of that. So, and the Nami is pretty solid. All right.
So we have an entirely AD composition on one side, entirely AP composition on the other side. So tell me about top lane Fizz. What items do we expect to see, and how do we expect that matchup to go?
It should be entirely standard. I think the first item should be a Sheen. He is going up against, what would it be?
Yeah, actually, it looks like
Morgana top.
It's Morgana mid.
No,
Or Zen?
we've seen this before.
Okay.
We've seen the Morgana top coming from Team ME's top laner. His Morgana top is actually really potent. I love the fact that he picked it up first pick, because at first I was wondering, I was like, I'm not so sure if the Morgana top is a good idea. I mean, the first pick Morgana was a good idea, but it looks like they were using it simply as a flex pick between the support player and the top player. So that's Tudoba. It's a really good idea. Yeah, his top lane Morgana was really efficient when he was going up against, I think it was China Korea Dragonz. Trying to remember this. It was China Korean Dragonz. Top lane Gnar, yes, and he was destroying him. The damage he was outputting was simply phenomenal. So yeah, it's a great pick. It's been working before.
And so when the Fizz was locked in, did they expect the Morgana to be top lane, and is top lane Fizz their answer to Morgana, or is that something that they would want to do anyway, even if it would have been Morgana support?
It's a really difficult one to call. The top Morgana versus Fizz.
Our expert on the Chinese scene.
Hey everybody, it looks like the pick and bans have already started for both teams, so let's just get us going here. Team MEA has already banned the Kha'Zix, Gnar, and Rise, and for Team Legend Dragonz, we've got the Jace, Jarvan, and Rumble. Alright,
And
so
we have Morgana picked on the one side for Emmy, and Thresh and Corki over on the side of Legend Dragon. What do you think of the pick so far?
first pick Morgana is actually very interesting, seeing as Gnar's already been banned out. It's gonna be already we have the Pantheon and Ezreal. Interesting
And
pick.
the Ezreal with Smite currently, but that's not gonna stay there, right?
Oh god, I feel like he's already seen the new patch. I feel like it's like, oh jeez. Oh, it looks like Pasta's hovering over his Zed. Oh, there we go. His Orianna. His Orianna is actually really proficient, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the pick. During the group stages, he had an Orianna game, though I don't want to base too much off the group stages since his group in Legend Dragon's group was pretty bad. Not much competition, and the Fizz, so we should be seeing the top Fizz this game.
Fizz. Double
Top
AP
Fizz
comp
has
there,
been
plus the
seen.
Quirky. That's going to be a lot of magic damage.
Yeah. Top Fizz will be interesting to see. I'm wondering if we saw that from Legends Dragons earlier this group. I do not think so. It must have been from another group entirely. It will be interesting to see. Actually, yeah, I think we did see the Fizz. Yeah, it was against OTM. So this isn't the first time we've seen the Fizz being...
I was just asking about the Ezreal pick in general.
Ezreal pick is just a safe one. It's a really solid safe pick, and it scales extremely well. In fact, we've generally seen the Ezreal pick alongside Jace and Rise, simply just because of the tier scaling. And once they've hit that power spike, they were able to just like that take over a team fight. Sometimes it's been handled poorly and generally hasn't seen much favor because teams will start team fights or just like get caught out before the power spike really takes gets into effect. But Team ME itself has shown real proficiency at knowing when they've hit that power spike and have used it extremely efficiently. So I'm confident in their ability to use that.
All right, so we're getting into the game soon. In the loading screen right now, I believe. So just call this game for me. How do you think the lanes are going to go? Who's going to take the game?
All right. I feel like I'm edging this one towards Team ME. They really surprised us last in the quarterfinals when they were going up against China Korean Dragonz. Everyone expected the China Korean Dragonz to take that bit. Everyone kind of looked past Team ME, and maybe just because of how problematic their group was, very stale. Like, of course, everyone like China Korea Dragonz stomped their groups, and Team ME stomped theirs. But people really valued the Korean players that were on China Korean Dragonz. But when we saw Team ME, their team play, their champion picks were off ball. I feel like the advantages over for Morgana. I mean, I guess the long lane you have to take into account the long lane of the top lane. So, Morgana might have a disadvantage simply because of the fact that she has quite a distance to run back to her turret. But just, of course, if she puts on her magic shield, it's going to be very difficult for Fizz to engage on that. So I feel like it's a skill matchup, but it could edge towards the top laner for Team ME.
Alright, then in the bot lane we have Ezreal Nami going up against Corky Thresh. Now, Ezreal is a champion that we all used to see all the time, and then suddenly he got nerfed for one last time, and we haven't seen him play too much in a while. So, what about this Ezreal pick?
The Ezreal pick has been coming back unexpectedly. I feel like it's been coming back.
Yeah, we have seen a little bit of Ezreal every now and then. In my opinion, Ezreal and Nami is a very good matchup because when you put the Tidecaller's Blessing, Nami's E, alongside with the Ezreal Q, you get a very long-range poke with the extra damage, and then that also gives the slow. And Ezreal, pretty good at all-inning early on in the levels, but against the Quirky Thresh, we'll see if they actually want to go for early fights or if they're going to want to play a little bit more cautiously.
Yeah, I think our Skype kind of, I think I disconnected a little bit there, so I'm not sure if I didn't catch the first part. Yeah, so could you just repeat that for me, just so I can understand that question? Oddballs, but at the same time, they worked extremely well. So I'm going to have to edge it towards them. I think they can use their team comp effectively.
Alright, and of course it is in the jungle. We didn't really talk about Pantheon versus Nunu. Nunu not having someone too efficient to Blood Boil, but still going to have really good objective control early on in the game, and is definitely going to be providing a lot of utility, a lot of vision control to his team. And then on the other side, we have Pantheon, who has that global pressure. Which lane do you think he's going to be focusing?
And what was the Pantheon pick towards? Let's see. Okay, it was on Team ME. He will probably be focusing the early game, just like the level 3. I feel like either in the mid lane or he might focus down the Fizz, because it seems like generally when you see a top lane Fizz, that's the priority. If top lane Fizz gets going, he won't stop. The snowball potential on that lane is astronomical. And of course, if you have the Morgana, you can lock him down, deal just enough damage with your Pantheon, and it's almost impossible for the Fizz Nunu to really... Oh, it looks like we have a skirmish going on here.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a skirmish there, and it looks like people are just going to be sent back. No one actually dying, and there come in the other recalls. So going to just come back to lane. A couple wards going down.
Yeah, as I was saying, just the 2v2 between the Pantheon Morgana against the Nunu Fizz. Nunu Fizz won't win out in that one, so I highly expect